is perfect.
Okay, great. Thank you, Naresh, for this wonderful opportunity. And yes, viewers, now we have already heard the physical aspects or the physics and the optics involved in the 3D system. How does it translate into the use during uh, your clinical application? Let us learn through it. Well, this system was basically designed for vitreoretinal procedures, and there is always a big question mark whether should it be used in anti-segment procedures. We were once, it is more than 3 years where I've done more than 3,000 procedures to be precise on this particular system. And I can very confidently say that this system can be as well used in a anti-segment surgeons. Let's go through the presentation. The basic advantage which it gives you is a magnification, which is 24 to 40% more than what an analog microscope offers. Now look at this particular video where we are doing a posterior polar cataract. This too on a screen which is more than a meter big. So everything appears magnified, and in a magnification, even a small speck of dust or even a small speck of a cortical fibers can be well resolved. So posterior polar cataract otherwise is a nightmare for most of us, a fear of post-capsular giving away. But yes, even this complicated we do. Here I have done a hydro delineation, rotating the nucleus, then cracking the nucleus, and then you can see the ease with which I'm leaving the cortical fibers. In fact, during cortical aspiration, you can see the last of the fiber, which because of the sheer magnification, and you can really do a fantastic cortical cleanup. And then this is the IOL implantation. Now, coming to the next advantage is the depth which it offers is more than 11 to 42% depth resolution is seen in this system. So how does it translate into clinical practice or cataract? Well, they actually see the various stratas of nucleus, and you will be 100% sure that whether your nucleus, you have reached the last part of it, are you close to the thing. Can you imagine such a high magnification giving you the actual stratas or the layers of the nucleus, which you can appreciate so well at such a high magnification? And that gives you the more confidence to go more closer and crack the posterior capsular plate as confidently as you would love to. This is another case to talk about the depth, where in this particular case, I am just flipping the epinuclear plate which was sticking. And here I'm introducing my instrument behind the epinuclear plate, which is very close to the capsule. And this is surely possible because of the depth and the confidence which it gives to the surgeon. Another place where it is useful is a case of a what we should say SFIOL. You can see the area behind the posterior capsule is blind either to the microscope or to the posterior weaving systems. Well, you can confidently do a handshake technique and you can easily remove it. Another case. Now coming to the field of view, it is 5 times better depth of field you can see. Now look at this eye which has a cataract along with a iris loss. So beyond cataract, I need to do surgery. So for doing cataract surgery and iris repair, you need a bigger field, as well as you would love to have a bigger magnification, and see the confidence and see the ease with which I can do an 4-through-knot iridoplasty, just because of the field, the depth, and the magnification which is offering, and you can see a successful completion of the closure of that iris defect. Well, color filters, well, they were meant for retina. Here also we can exploit the use of it. Well, this is a case where I'm using a yellow filter. This is simple halogen light of the microscope, where I cannot see a adequately stained capsule so well. Now I would shift my to a filter mode, and now you can see the capsule so well. So that is the beauty of filters, which comes as an additional advantage in this particular system. So beyond retina, is it possible? Is it that Dr. Bhawankule only says about it, or there are publications? Well, this is our publication, which will be in print in IGO July 2021, which speaks about the use of this system beyond retina. Now, let us see some classic difficult cases, so-called. This is a siderotic cataract. You can see the cornea whole studded with, iris siderotic pigments, and the visibility is so poor. By adjusting the filters over here, I am doing a siderotic cataract, a complete phacoemulsification, so through a siderotic cornea. And you can see even in such difficult cornea, I can do. And then I had to remove a foreign body, so we are moving ahead. This is grade 5 or cataract nigra, if that is what we call in our older literature. And even in cataract nigra, you can see I can manage with this particular system so easily. Now, this is another challenging case for a cataract surgeon. This is an albinotic patient, non-ophthalmos, grade 4 or grade 5 cataract and nystagmus. IOL power required was 35 diopter and the anterior chamber depth was only 2.1 millimeter or so. The challenge here was whether we should do it on a conventional microscope, but I opted for doing it under Ingenuity. Basically, the advantage was the sheer magnification and the depth. I could feel that anterior chamber to be as deep as a few centimeters, and so that inhibition of working under a small shallow AC was not there, and well, I could do it. The other thing in a case of an albinotic eye is that the red color gets magnified and it bites your eyes. So you have to use a filter as I'm using a red-free filter while doing an albinotic eye. So whenever there is red, it gets exaggerated in a digital image. So using a filter like this helps you in toning down that exaggerated red. The second eye of the same patient, now we were more confident, and we went ahead doing a nucleotomy and fragmentomy in spite of a non-ophthalmos patient requiring an IOL power of 35 diopters. This is grade 4 cataract with anterior capsular fibrosis. Again, and the level of difficulty you can understand. Well, the basic challenge here is doing a good capsulorhexis. I'm doing a capsulorhexis under this particular system at such a phenomenal high magnification. Once I achieve a capsular complete CCC, then the rest of the job for any phacosurgeon is similar, doing cracking the nucleus and removing it and the lens insertion. This is another one of our challenging cases, which I will share with you. This is an eye with a neovascular glaucoma. You can see the eye is having new vessels, and we needed to do a combined procedure. There is a pupillary membrane, vascular membrane. There is a bleed inside the antechamber when I'm trying to remove that membrane. And under viscoelastic, I'm separating the membranes on the anterior surface of iris, which was there. Then putting a hooks to get the adequate view of the capsule thing. And once the pupil was clear, the rest of the steps were almost similar. Only the challenge in this case was lack of glow because of the vitreous hemorrhage posteriorly. Well, even in such challenging cases, we do use these systems and look at the comfort with which we could manage in rubeotic eye high magnification and the ease with which we are doing it. This is another challenging case, which is a subluxation with a CT, means more than 180 degrees. And you can see that here I have to do a phaco. Phaco I am doing after phaco, hydrodissection, nucleus removal, and then I put a CTR in this case. And well, the lens, after removing the last part of the cortex, the capsular bag, I found it to be a bit unstable. CTR was put, and CTR, see the ease with which I am introducing the CTR, and the surgery was uneventful. Another case where he had a cataract along with subluxated cataract, in subluxation, significant with a vitreous prolapse into anterior chamber. So we did a phaco. Intermittently, we were doing anterior vitrectomy to whatever vitreous was prolonging, means prolapsing through this particular zone. CTR, and after CTR, you can see the introduction of CTR and then placing the IOL. So even such challenging cases is not a no for us even under this system. Now, yes, do we use it only for monofocal lenses? No, no, we do not hesitate even to do any of our premium cataract patients. Here is a case just to show you that I have introduced a trifocal IOL under this system. So it doesn't mean that my premium routine patients go here. And the next thing is This is the last case of my video bouquet where, I should start from here. This is a patient with corneal opacity traumatic. There is a big iris tissue loss, traumatic cataract. So it was a multiple challenges. The level of difficulty of surgery was quite high. Well, we are doing a capsulorhexis through that anti-capsular fibrotic thing. We managed it. We removed the nucleus. Yes, it was relatively easy because it was just grade 1. Putting the lens in the sulcus, and then more importantly, doing an iris repair. For iris repair, you need a bigger field of view, also a bigger magnification you would have to have. Well, use this system, either I would put it in a different way. Now that it has become a device of choice, if, and this is the last case where I'm doing a cat with a combined. Again, the challenge here is lack of flow because of vitreous, and then combining it with surgery, which Naresh will share further. So friends, 3D digital made its mark, and its enhanced depth image indicates that the advantage is color and light mapping. Thank you.